Welcome to our Thin Rip Jig video series. In this video, we will detail how to make a simple yet stunning charcuterie board that is ideal for most any occasion. Let's start this process by setting up your Thin Rip Jig. With the power to your table saw off and unplugged, measure from the outside of the blade to achieve your desired width of cut. Then, slide the jig over and lightly secure the knob. Pull the jig back behind the blade and secure the knob the rest of the way to keep the jig from moving in the slot. Now it's time to make your cuts. Using the Thin Rip Jig as your guide, cut as many pieces as you need for your project. In our example, we are cutting 8 strips of maple wood that will be the perfect accent for our charcuterie board. Take note as to how easy it is to make the same thin rip cut over and over again. The Thin Rip Jig really does make the repetitive cutting process super easy. We have a few more thin strips to cut. We are using a hardwood called Wenge wood. This dark wood will be the perfect contrast to the maple wood strips we just cut. It's time to glue these strips up with the rest of the charcuterie board pieces. We only showed the thin ripped pieces here to simply show how the Thin Rip Jig works for this type of project. If you have never used a silly glue brush, do yourself a favor and get one. They make this process super easy when compared to traditional glue brushes. We used an interior wood glue for this project along with some heavy-duty pipe clamps for extra holding power when drying. Use any type of wood you choose to make this board the way you would like. We recommend a good mix of lighter and darker woods to really make the thin strips pop. We also recommend using harder woods to help resist warping and to stand up to repeated use. Once glued up and setting your clamps, let the board stand until the wood glue is completely dry. Once dry, it will be time to sand your board so it's ready for the finishing process. Now it's time to start finishing your charcuterie board. Choose the finish of your liking. We recommend using an organic, food-safe, and natural finish like we are showing here. This is of course if you are going to use the board for food serving purposes. Apply the finish as you normally would and to your liking. Once the board is finished, you'll have the perfect charcuterie board for those perfect occasions. All made possible by using the Thin Rip Jig for those extra narrow cuts.